Hello everyone, welcome to Week 5, Unit 2, Analytics Designer demo. Within this unit, I'm going to show you two great demos that are built with Analytics Designer. So in front of you, you see a typical dashboard examples or analytical applications. And then we see that here a time period overall, and here I have a drop-down boxes. I can move to different time period. So if I click on actual months, then you see all of the dashboard are filtered with the information of the actual months. If I now go to the move to, for example, year to date, means from January 1st to today, and then all of the dashboards are filtered with this information. And then with this dashboard on the overview page, you see this is 3 key figure tile, and you see the charts, and you see also the R widgets that can also be integrated within Analytics Designer. And if you look into this key figure, gross margin, quantity sold, discount, and we also see this 3 dot. With 3 dot, you can use the pop-up window to show the whole details. And we see the gross margin details for year to date. And here, of course, you can also use the chart capabilities to do some interaction. I can close pop-up, and I can also select a particular product. Then all these key figure on the left side are get updated, and click on particular store. These key figures are getting updated, and click here on a location. My key figure is getting updated. You see this whole interaction is filtering and also transfer parameter, etc. All of that can be done with the scripting capabilities with Analytics Designer. Then let's have a look into the second analytic information. So here we will see more detailed informations. And click on here, I can using pop-up or dialog component to show me here a setting dialog. So here I am able to select the key figures I want to see in my table. For example, I only want to see the actual, plan, or absolute of the key figures. Click on that. Then we see exactly these 3 key figures are shown in the table, or gross margin as absolute deviation, gross margin actual, and the gross margin plan. And then within this dashboard, we can also switch to the table or chart view at the runtime. And now let me go back to the table view again. And with these drop-down boxes, I can do some filtering. So if I click on discount, then all of the key figures are switched to the discount related key figure. So here is not only to filter a particular one dimension or one key figure, it's a key figure group filtering. For that, you can use a scripting capability with a drop-down widget to implement that. We can switch different dimension to the table. So here I'm in the product. I can switch to the location, and then the location as a dimension is shown in the table. And use the third drop-down boxes, I can select the hierarchies based on the location. So we have 2 hierarchies, either states or the flat presentation. I click on the states, then we see exactly here the informations about these hierarchies. So now you see the locations are displayed as a states hierarchy in the table. And now I can now switch to product back. And based on the product as dimension, the third drop-down boxes are providing different entries. So we see here 3 entries as a hierarchy belonging to the dimension product. Now we also select a category as the product hierarchy. So here between the dimension drop-down boxes and hierarchy drop-down boxes, that's a cascading behavior. So you can implement using the scripting capabilities to do these cascading capabilities. And of course, I can also using that to see actually here the product in the category as a hierarchy. I can using some of the filtering informations. For example, click on the sales manager. I only want to select this for sales manager and click on OK, and then my table and my chart will be also getting updated with this filter information. So here's a filter line as a widget. And now I would like to, for example, go back to the flat presentation again. And before you see all the typical dashboarding capabilities, add dimension at runtime, add key figure at runtime, add the hierarchy at runtime, you can to do some filtering information. And then now I can first have a look into the detailed information about the product Coca-Cola. And then in the detailed information, show me the information about this product. And then I can say, now I would like to navigate from Analytics Designer to Smart Discovery. And my goal is that now Smart Discovery should be generated based on the information actually I give from the Analytics Designer. So I give the product as the dimension, Coca-Cola as the classification group. And now SAC is generating a Smart Discovery document for me to show me the key influence. So Smart Discovery capability you already got to know in the previous weeks. So I'm not going to again focus on the details. And the point here is that from the Analytics Designer, you are able to navigate to the Smart Discovery and taking over the parameter. For example, in my use cases, is Coca-Cola as a classification group. So here, that's exactly the Smart Discovery document about the key influence. Now let me go back to my Analytics Designer application again here. We are coming back from the Smart Discovery back to the Analytics Designer. And now I can also navigate to the Explorer. So I can click on the Explore button and then get into the Explore View mode. So what happens here is it's taking all the data source information, filter information, hierarchy information, taking over from my data source to the Explore view. We see that I make the filter on the sales manager, right? That's exactly this filter are taking over, and also product as dimension is also taking over. And then now, for example, I can add another sales manager to do my data explore in the explore mode. And after I'm done with my Data Explorer, I just close the Data Explorer, then I am back into the Analytics Designer again. So here is to show you the capabilities that you can very easily navigate to Smart Discovery, navigate to the Explorer, to taking over parameters, and the end user have the bunch of flexibilities to first consume this enterprise dashboard or guided dashboard, and then he has also the options to navigate to the Smart Discovery Explorer to do his own work. Okay, that's the first part of this demo. So let's actually go back to the overview pages. You see here actually QR code, right? So I want to show you what is QR code for, and also demonstrate that the scenarios, what you can do with this dashboard. So this QR code, I'm using my iPhone camera. First, scan this QR code. And what happens is with this QR code is web page is displayed on my mobile phone. This is a very easy web page and show me a couple of options that I can do. So now let's first click. Actually, I want to, for example, switch the time period now to previous months. Click on complete. So now what you will happen is you will see the interaction on your dashboard. You see the dashboard now is to do the filtering based on the time period, previous months. That's what you can see here, right? And what we can also do is go back, and I want to switch to the year to date, and then the dashboarding now is also going to interact. We see also the year to date, the information is filtered again, even in the drop-down box is also filtered. So what happens here is we are using another web page that's exactly on my iPhone to remote control my dashboard on my desktop. So the typical scenario is if you are sitting in the meeting your discussion how is the revenue goes down, so everyone can use a mobile phone to actually remote control your dashboard to find the result. Or you have a warehouse and you have, for example, your production quantities and your big warehouses, and your dashboard is in a big monitor in the warehouse. In that case, you don't want to always go to the big monitor to touch, or you using go to your computer to do that. You can use your iPhone basically, and then to remote control it. And I can, for example, also click on the gross margin here as a detailed pop-up. Then we see the gross margin, actually the pop-up information. I then close pop-up. I can also the discount and also close pop-up. So this capability, we are using the post-message API embedding capabilities that enable using post-message API to communicate between two different web pages. That is actually, one is my analytical application on my desktop, the other web pages is exactly deployed on my iPhone. So with the QRC releases, you will be also able to create this kind of scenarios, communication between different web pages. Okay, that's for the first scenario. And the second scenario I want to show you that is a closed loop scenario. So in front of you, you see an HTML5 page. So that is a home page for my company. My company is a plane flight company. And here now is just the HTML5 code. What I can do is I can embed analytical applications within this HTML5 pages. So here, if I click on that from the home page, I'm getting into my analytics part. I click on that, and then I'm getting into my analytical application. That's also the embedding capabilities we are providing. You can embed analytical application into any other third-party web pages or third-party solutions. So here we'll get into the analytics part. That's the analytical applications created by an SAP Analytics Cloud Analytics Designer. So we see some RSS feed, weather forecast, we see some actually animations, KPI overview. It's red. And then I click on that to see the details for that. We see three key figures: operating costs, load factor, revenue. And with operating costs, we see that the actual value is too high compared to the forecast. So what we are going to do now is I'm using the slider to actually increase the forecasted value. So here is integrated with the planning capabilities. So you will see that the actual forecasted value get updated. But compared to actual value is still too high with 101%. So now I want to publish. And the system tells me there's still 1% difference. I need to lower my operating costs. Okay, because I'm a flight company, I need to check my flight. What's the option for me to lower my operating costs? And we see here in the last page of my application is 1% of over forecast. And we see here the calendar informations. Now I would like to select maybe the 22nd of May to end of May, click on OK. And I see all of the flights that are scheduled within this time frame. And we see that with the operating cost and with the actually quite lower load factor in economy and also in the business class. So let's have a look into this actually flight. Click on that. I make a selection on the table. And then on the right side, I see the information, detailed information about this flight. This detailed information is telling me that load factor is low. And I have the current, this flight is scheduled with a narrow body aircraft. And here this airplane seat situation is also showing here. And also we see that there's option to switch to the regional aircraft. This detailed information coming from the backend S4HANA backend system using OData function call. I can now say, let's switch to the regional aircraft, click on the simulate. So with this step, I want to simulate if I switch to the regional aircraft, will that help to solve my issues? So again, here's the integration with the planning capabilities. So I click on the simulate, then I see the data has been updated here. So what we can see is, you see the operating cost is goes down, and alert is a disappear, everything is fine. And even the flight is from a narrow body craft to the small regional aircraft switched. You see that the plane shape has been changed. Now, after simulation, I think, well, that's a solution, then I can click on the apply button. So what happens is, apply means I trigger a transaction in the S4HANA system. The transaction is switched to the small plane, and I can now get the information back from the backend system to tell me the transaction is executed, and I get the confirmation whether it's successfully done or not. So that's the closed loop scenario. We are starting from the analysis issue to do some simulation using the integrated planning capabilities, and then finally to take action using the OData function call that enable you to implement this closed loop scenario. So within this scenario, I must mention, you see this plane shape, right? That's a custom widget. And also you see this calendar, that's custom widget. And the page before, the speedometer, is a custom widget. And also here, different shape, it's also the custom widget. Custom widget in this demo is a preview of the Q3 delivery, and anything else, the capability here you have seen, like integration with planning, integration with OData, and also interaction, different components that's already delivered with the Q2 release, QRC release. So that's the closed loop scenario. And now that's the two demos. I want to demonstrate to you one closed loop scenario, one is a typical dashboarding scenario. And now to enable you to getting easy started, and I want to show you that with the delivered business content with the examples, you click on it, you are able to import the example content we are delivering into your tenant. So that's the app design example content. Once you click the import, then it will be shown in your public folder, like here what I have. And also you see the analytics designer folder, and we have demos and the feature demo. The demos is exactly the first demo, the black background demo that I've shown you, and also the feature demo, it's much more in detailed way that you will exactly see how you can switch visibility, how you can using the filter line widget, etc. So that with all of these samples, it's a really good getting started for you. Thank you. So that's the end of the Unit 2, and thank you for your attention.